This tutorial will cover setting up our light and the Arnold render system to generate some still images of our model. I'm going to hold down the space bar, go to Create, Light, and I'm going to choose a spotlight. I'll hit 4 on the keyboard because I know that it's embedded in the XYZ axis of my perspective view, and it's just easier to get at that icon. I'll hit W on the keyboard. I'll pull it up above my model. I'll start to put it in the area where I would like to eventually light this. And then I'm going to hit T on the keyboard. T breaks our icon into 2 elements: the source of the light and the target of the light. Now I'd like this light to shine down towards my model, so I'm going to hold down V on the keyboard, and when I do, the target area, square in the center of the vertices, turns into a circle, and that allows me to click with my left mouse and snap it down to my surface of my model. I'm going to go to the attributes for the light now. So I'll go to the tabs and I'll click on attributes, or I'll hit Control A. And in here I'm going to change the intensity to about 30. You can go beyond the 10 that the slider bar stops at here. So in that case I will punch in 30. And then I'm going to go down to the Arnold tab, and down here I'm going to change the exposure to 3.5. And this will be a good general setup so that we can at least see it in the Arnold render window. Once I've saved it, I'm going to go to Arnold and I'm going to click on Arnold Render View. And all I need to do is make sure that I click on the red triangle in the corner of the render view to preview my model. So I can see a couple of things here. Perhaps it might be too bright. I need a larger circumference so I see more of the model. Now there's 2 ways to approach that. I could pull the icon up, or I could go to the attributes and I could change the cone size. Now I don't want that harsh edge around the perimeter of my model. So I'm using the viewport of my perspective view to manipulate the view in the Arnold render. We could set this for 3D and manipulate it somewhat in here, but it's not very responsive, so you're better off using the viewport itself to update your view. Now that I've got it generally where I want it for the moment, I'm going to change the penumbra angle, and I'm going to drag that to, I think I'll go the other way, to -10. And you'll see now the light has softened up. Now once again, you'd be going back and forth with your cone angle and your penumbra to get exactly what you would want. Now I don't want the shadows to be that harsh. Right now they're very opaque and they're very hard edged. This is kind of an artificial light, and I'd like the light to follow in suit with the softness of the circumference. So I'm going to go to my light attributes once again, and I'm going to scroll down to Arnold, and I'm going to make the radius from 0. I'll start to drag it to the right, and as I drag and let go, you'll see that the shadow redraws itself and starts to soften. I don't want it to be that black, so I'll open up the shadow tab, and the shadow tab is set for black, so I'll just drag that to the right, and I can soften the opacity of it as well. So that's a pretty good start. Now it's a matter of just setting up my renders the way I would like, and moving the light so that the drop shadows are doing perhaps what I would like. Now I've started to move my light around, and Arnold's having a hard time, or has completely stopped rendering. So I'm going to close it out, and I'm going to save it. I'll hit continue, and I'm just going to reopen the Arnold render view. And when I do, it'll respond again. In lighting, for some reason, inside of Arnold, very often it just stops responding virtually to what you do in the viewport. So it's something you'll just want to be aware of. You'll notice right away if you make something a major change and then there's no response. It's just a prompt you to turn that off and open it again. So I'm going to go in here now, and I'm going to play with my cone angle just a little bit more, just to get the circumference of my model in view. And that looks pretty good. So now it's a matter of rendering my model in a number of ways. This is about a product, so that box is really important. So I would make sure to have rendered at least one view like this. And it's very simple. It's already set for a JPEG, which is what we want. I would go to File, Save Image, and I'd go to my folder that I want to put these elements in, and save. And that's what we would do for our workflow. And we want at least 4 nice renders of our product.